Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Dude, it feels like I'm chilling on the damn beach. I literally have a Diet Coke in my hand recording this. I feel alive. I feel good. I feel great. You know, this came out a couple of hours ago. We did cover it, so we're not going to talk about it too much, but we can see a major update coming soon on Zebec Network's compliance for ISO 20022 implementation across our domestic and cross-border flows. Listen, the rumor is on the streets, on the Zebec streets, I heard, Monday supposedly is going to be the big announcement, possibly tomorrow, right? We'll see Sunday, Monday, right? But oh my God, it is so exciting. It is so exciting. Man, oh man. We have talked about certain price zones and targets for some time. We have talked about the 0.0023 sweep, right? The sweep of this June candle. We got it. We got it. Guess what? Your boy, as soon as the thing swept, your boy bought in, right? Your boy bought in right below those lows. A very massive big bag, kind of similar, actually bigger than the one I bought here, right? Because I bought a very big one here. I bought a bigger one here. And I'm like, you know what? That's it. We're just going to let Zebec do the rest of the work for the rest of the next couple months, even 1 or 2 years. Whatever happens, right? But the point is, right, there was a buying opportunity when there was a lot of fear. We talked about it. We rehearsed this moment, God knows how many weeks at this point, right? So many weeks. It finally happened, right? Let me know if you guys, took an opportunity to pull the trigger, anywhere in these prices, right? Even down here. You did have a good amount of time, right? Even if you got up here, this is a 4-hour candle, 444, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40 hours. You did have pretty much 40 hours to be buying anywhere between, let's just say 0.0021 and the 26, right? And we can see price has instantly reacted positively. Now, here's the thing, right? Is it a coincidence it happened on the same day where there's ISO positive news for Zebec? I don't know, man. I'll let you guys decide. The Zebec network, the crypto markets are heavily manipulated, which, by the way, guys, you need manipulation in order for things to pump, right? Everything is manipulated. Just like it just really is. The whole world in general is manipulated, okay? Even like something, I'm not going to go too crazy into this, but even like the news, right? Have you ever seen those compilations where people post the same type of news? Like people will post clips from different hosts and different things, like Fox and CNN, and they're all saying the same thing, right? Because there's just sometimes an agenda. And here's the thing, right? With crypto markets, this is all manipulated, but we need the manipulation in order to pump. And we can see, right? Boom, we take out a certain zone. There's also positive news on top. And guess what, right? Over the last day or so, if we take it from the literal bottoms, to the literal top, we have pumped up 53.31%. Very, very nice, right? Very, very nice. Okay. And that's just in a day. This type of structure does show reversal signs. Okay. It really, really does. Now, here is the key thing to know, right? Bitcoin can still kind of ruin our party a little bit. Not necessarily maybe ruin, but delay, right? It might delay things out. Just because Bitcoin has been selling off. Now, here's the thing. This is actually a pretty good, decent Friday candle. The Saturday is kind of chilling. So we actually might start seeing some type of Bitcoin reversals. Either we start going sideways and then we just kind of break up, or we might potentially have a Sunday/Monday sell-off, fake out to go higher. Okay, because we have retraced with Bitcoin, I mean, over the last month or so, a good amount, right? Bitcoin has been consistently crashing pretty much, for, let's just say 25 days. And even the last couple of days, if we really start counting the sell, right? Boom, right over here to where we are right now, 11 days. So 10 days pretty much of aggressive sells of roughly $26,000 to $27,000, right? So usually when you get something very aggressive like this, you're bound to see some type of retracement, which could obviously help with the Zebec claiming certain structure. Now, here's the deal, right? When we look at the bigger picture, we are still kind of in the same zone and kind of going with the same narrative. Okay, we can see we have multiple zones that are getting tapped with these trend lines, right? Boom. We just do something like this. Let me take this out because this was just show you where I bought the first time a big bag, right? So we have zone, 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 right? And we could see, right? We could actually see that although we've been selling off aggressively the last few weeks, and yes, it has been mainly a red week, we can see if we actually close this week the way it is, right, in terms of swing points, in terms of key swing points, we are actually going to create a higher low, right? Kind of the way we created a lower high with these swing points. When we had these swing points over here, boom, right? I know people were getting very excited when we pumped up that 1 a week, which I'll just show you in just a second. Boom. And this week, right? This week. But this was technically still a lower high. But we can see, right? In terms of swing areas, we are getting lower. But in terms of the swing areas for the bottom, we are consistently getting higher. Now, technically, this still could flip, right? We still have a day or so to really get confirmation. But if it doesn't, then, Monday could still be a short-term pullback, right? It doesn't mean just because we have this type of candle, there won't be a short-term pullback to go further up, right? If we go to something like the daily, right? We could definitely be seeing some type of pullbacks and retests probably off of this general zone right over here, because at the end of the day, this is a big, massive support, right? So there's a chance we can pull back to the 2.9, the 2.8, or the 2.7 to retest, go sideways, and then go further up, okay? Because like I said, this is technically a huge kind of zone right over here. And it's normal to pull back. It genuinely is normal to pull back, even if the momentum is stronger. Now, what's the next thing we're going to be looking for? Well, first off, we want this daily candle to close the way it closes, because that means we have created a higher high than this most recent candle. In terms of the minor swing zones, we still have these minor swing zones to take out, right? Boom, boom, and boom, right? All of these minor swing zones to take out. We also do have nice support and resistance here. So this is what we're going to be mainly looking for, right? There is a chance where we kind of go and keep pushing. We might tap off this zone. We might sell off a little bit, but if we kind of stay stagnant and just sideways, this will indicate very, very bullish signs to then come back to retest these key zones that we're talking about, these swing highs, upwards of potentially even going to the 4.8, the 4.9, or the 4.7, like we've talked about before, right? And this would pretty much be us retesting to see if we can create a new higher swing zone. That's something that we anticipated a little bit earlier, kind of when we had this moment here, right? We never got it, but this is still on the table. And then we're going to have to see how we react off the 4.7, 4.8, and 4.9, right? In terms of the trend lines, when we go this way, right? Everything is still valid. We could obviously always peek over it a little bit, but we can see we are generally in this zone. But things are looking good, right? This is potentially the first case of us reversing bullish. But we really, really have to see how we start closing, and we really need to see how momentum continues, right? If Bitcoin is going to be a disaster, then it's going to be really, really hard, generally speaking, to pretty much go up higher. But I do believe Bitcoin is bound for reversals sooner than later. Overall, I still believe altcoin season will happen in 2026. I still believe heavily in the project of Zebec network. We can see, right? We are ranked 132, right? We were almost in the 150s just not too long ago, but now we're 132. And I cannot wait for the day where we hit top 100. It is going to be like a mini celebration. We can see we have almost 300 million market cap, 33 million volume, which, by the way, right, 33 million volume for roughly 30 or so percent pump. Wait, no, not 30 or so. I lied. Wait, I swear we pumped more than 30%. I think that's just in the last day. Yeah, 53%. I think it was like 30% in the last day. So we can see it doesn't take much money to pump up Zebec. So what's going to happen when there is going to be a lot of money in Zebec? Do you get it? What's going to happen when we have hundreds of millions of volumes? What happens when we hit even the low billions in volume? Think about the price surges. I'm telling you, people, you guys are not prepared. Altcoin season breaks the rules. It breaks math. It breaks the probabilities. All right. It breaks the impossible. It makes it possible. That's why people love altcoin season, because it is just insane. Those few short months, those few short, powerful weeks of pump, 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 pump are insane. And we can see, right, huge growth, huge growth. We already went up 300 holders just today, right? The price bandwagon and the news bandwagon. And we can see we went up 300 holders today and the day is still not finished. But that is going to be ultimately it, though, ladies and gentlemen. Coinbase and Binance to come soon. I love you guys so, so much. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.